Hello there. The new German Chancellor in waiting is in Europe empire building mode, and he's prepared to isolate us all from Donald Trump's USA to achieve it. No sooner had it become obvious to Friedrich Merz that he'd become Germany's top dog politician than he started talking about building a European alliance to be independent of the US and establish its own independent defence capability, when we already have NATO. But instead of trying the statesman-like route to steady the wobbly EU-US relations, something that would ensure NATO cohesion going forwards, Merz has decided that now is the time to start sawing through the connections of the Europe-US partnership by saying that NATO's days could be numbered. And he's also doing all he can to sideline the AfD that surged to second place in yesterday's elections with 20.8% of the vote. Talking on TV, Merz said, "My absolute priority will be to strengthen Europe as quickly as possible so that, step by step, we can really achieve independence from the USA." So the new German leader is now taking charge of Europe, is he? How many European citizens of other member states who trade so lucratively with the US will like to hear that, I wonder? And when he ends up as Chancellor, ignores the AfD but cozies up out of necessity with the likes of the Social Democrats and the Greens to form a coalition, what chance all his pronouncements about controlling EU and German borders just fizzle out. The woke net zero tail will no doubt be wagging the Merz dog. The German trajectory to self-destruction will be assured. The German majority had their chance to stop the rot, but did not take their opportunity. They instead made the mistake of listening to the establishment wokerati. Despite the fact that going woke means going broke, the drive to force a population to become a subdued, obedient, woke blob just means that industrious wealth creators and entrepreneurs become an endangered species. So out of the window goes your national economy, leaving the only route left for governments to follow to become more and more draconian in ruling the people and taking everything they have in order to keep the all-important overbearing state in charge. Back to vassalage of the people, vassalage within some new German-led European empire. Why has this not yet become obvious to the majority? Do they really have to be faced with penury with their backs to the wall before they react? Now, with only 28.5% of the vote, Merz does need to make a coalition to form a government. But in the lead up to this election, he sounded more like the AfD on immigration than the AfD did, while calling the woke left and Greens crazies. So he's going to have to make some hard concessions with the crazy woke left and the Greens if he really wants to keep the AfD out. Why not just do what the new US administration is asking Germany to do? Work with the AfD. Now, the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and President Macron of France are both due to fly over to the US this week to meet with the new US President Donald Trump to try and convince him to keep military funding flowing into Europe to help Ukraine. Something not helped by a couple of Molotov cocktails being lobbed into the grounds of the Russian consulate in Paris overnight. Whichever side did it, or for whatever reason. And our PM has helpfully given Ukraine the UK's fullest backing. No Ukraine peace deal, it seems, for Keir the Kneeler Starmer, putting him at odds with Donald Trump. So Trump may just say to our esteemed Prime Minister, "Go put your money and troops into Ukraine then, or go and join the new German-led European empire." Now, don't get caught in the trap of thinking that the US and Europe are only separated by differing views over the future of Ukraine. No, there is a growing ideological chasm between us too. A divide between the freewheeling, drill baby drill, patriotic, free speech USA, and a Europe that is virtue signalling itself down a route of obsessive net zero and open borders towards self-destruction. And the new German Chancellor-to-be thinks that a continent run on the basis of destroying its own manufacturing base, debasing its entrepreneurs, killing agricultural self-sufficiency and ensuring it maintains the highest intermittent energy costs it can, is going to become a powerhouse to rival the US. That's just delusional. Just look at the US employment policy of hire at will, compared to the European model of the employee is always right and can work from home while bankrupting their employer with government backing. I'd put my money firmly on the US to be the winner every time. And that recent earthquake of a speech by the US Vice President J.D. Vance at the Munich Security Conference laid out exactly what the US sees as the real problems facing Europe are. And our illustrious leaders were in no mood to listen. Their response is just to double down on woke at every opportunity. And here in the UK we have Keir Starmer laying into the political poll leaders, Nigel Farage's Reform UK, calling them the danger that the UK faces. He's no doubt hoping to isolate the Trump and Farage supporters in a bid to keep the power in the hands of the establishment uniparty system, not realising that with every day that passes, it is their own woke left that is being isolated. Isolated along with an EU that most people realise by now is a massively failing ideological experiment. Whereas it looks like Trump, with the help of Elon Musk, will be leading the US to new heights. Because unlike European politicians, they are working for the US citizens. European leaders are working for internationalist programs like global wealth and population redistribution. Translated into forcing the wealth to flow out while welcoming the newcomers to flow in. Not a sensible policy to follow if you really want your country to thrive and prosper. Our UK establishment overlords definitely do not want our country to thrive and prosper. No, they want to drown it in red tape, make it too expensive for wealth creators to operate, and tax the place, especially the elderly, into the dust. Literally.